In a quiet town, tucked between rolling hills and whispering woods, there stood a small shop with a faded wooden sign. Harris and Timepieces. The shop belonged to Mr. Harris, an old clockmaker. He was a gentleman, always seen polishing brass gears or tinkering with tiny springs. His shop was filled with clocks of all kinds, grandfather clocks that chimed proudly, pocket watches with intricate carvings, and cuckoo clocks that sang at the strike of each hour. But there was one clock in his shop that no one had ever seen running. It was a large black clock with silver hands, standing silently in the corner, covered by a dusty cloth. Whenever children asked about it, Mr. Harris would smile softly and say, "That one isn't for sale." One rainy evening, a boy named Ethan entered the shop. He was about 12, curious, and often found himself wandering into places most children ignored. The warm glow of oil lamps reflected off the golden gears inside the shop. Ethan loved the ticking sound that filled the air. It felt like the heartbeat of the room. "Good evening, Ethan," Mr. Harris said, without looking up from his work. Ethan's eyes drifted to the corner. The covered clock seemed taller than usual, almost watching him. "Mr. Harris," Ethan asked, "why don't you ever fix that clock?" The old man paused. His hands trembled slightly as he set down his tools. "That clock is special," he whispered. "It doesn't measure ordinary time." Ethan tilted his head. "What do you mean?" Mr. Harris gave a faint smile. "One day, when the right person comes along, the clock will reveal its secret." That night, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the clock. He dreamed of silver gears turning, of hands spinning backward, of voices calling from another time. The very next day, when the shop was quiet, Ethan slipped inside again. Mr. Harris was in the back room, and the mysterious clock stood unguarded. The cloth covering it seemed to beckon him. Slowly, Ethan pulled it away. The black wood gleamed as if freshly polished. The silver hands pointed not at numbers, but at strange symbols he didn't recognize. At the center of the clock was an engraving, "Time is a doorway." Before he could think, Ethan reached out and turned the winding key. The clock's hands began to move. At first, they ticked forward like a normal clock. Then they spun faster and faster until the whole shop trembled. The room darkened, the ticking grew louder, and in a flash of white light, Ethan was gone. He opened his eyes to find himself in the same town, but not the same time. The streets were filled with horses and carriages instead of cars. People wore clothes from centuries ago. The air smelled of wood smoke and fresh bread. Ethan gasped. The clock had sent him back in time. He wandered through the market, amazed. A kind woman handed him an apple, smiling warmly. Children ran past him, laughing. But as he turned a corner, he saw something strange, a shadow.